Well, I am not surprised. So this video is going to be on college football. I got a lot of things going on. I'm playing my game, and I'm going to just have this be on the background. But this is going to be on college football. This playoffs has been very lackluster in the sense of it has not really been. There has nothing been very shocking about it. It's been so predictable. The teams um, that should be winning are winning, and it's not even that close. I was really hoping Indiana was going to do something exciting. It was kind of a wish, because I thought out of all the teams that would be the closest and in most contending kind of game, and it wasn't. Yes, the score looks different, but yeah. Let me get into the scores. So I'll start out with Indiana, 27-7. It was really 27 to, I believe it was 3 or 7 or. Let me see. Yeah, it was 27-3. No, 20-3 in start of the fourth quarter. This game was kind of exciting to see at the end, but it was the same as the Clemson SMU game. It was kind of just like they kind of let them get back into the game, but they knew that they were already going to win. It was just pretty obvious, which I always think is always it's a scary game, scary way of playing the game, playing it that way. But of all the teams that have been doing that, I mean, the Clemson game and the Clemson game, it got too close for comfort. They let the SMU Mustangs tie up the game. But yeah, it's been interesting to see. I figured SMU was going to lose by a lot. SMU definitely got lost by a lot. Penn State won 38-10. The game was not even close. It was horrendous. The Notre Dame game, they looked good. I don't know if they're really that good. It really depends on the next game. So that's kind of a question mark there. Penn State kind of a question mark there. Don't really know. Clemson game, Texas against Clemson. It's halftime right now, 28-10. That game isn't very close. It was exciting seeing the first Clemson get the first touchdown, but that's been really it. I don't know. These playoffs have just been very mediocre at best. The real game that I've been looking forward to is the Georgia Ohio State, or not Georgia Ohio State, Tennessee Ohio State. Sorry, I'm pretty tired, but Tennessee Ohio State. That's going to be fun. Tennessee fans, they are crazy. They bought up a ton of tickets, so it's going to be primarily Tennessee fans at the game. This is going to be bonkers, and it's at 5. So a few more hours. This is the game that really is like the only real game that I was looking at watching closely that will be exciting. And it's a real playoff game. I'm going to mention it this way. There has not really been a start to the playoffs until the Tennessee-Ohio State game. The playoffs this year, there's no other way to put it. And I think, before I get into this, I'm going to say, Clemson, you guys won your conference, had a great season. Yes, they had 3 losses. I'm okay with them being in the playoffs. I actually am. SMU never should have been in the playoffs. Was absolutely the committee not wanting to have Alabama in, not wanting to have South Carolina in, or even Ole Miss in. Absolutely terrible. I don't know what the heck was going on there. Once again, I am going to keep saying this because this is just shows. It just shows the idiocy of the committee saying we are choosing to reward teams that win. But last I saw, before the playoff brackets were announced, last I saw, SMU lost to Clemson. So why are you rewarding teams that lose? I don't understand. If they can't win in the big games, how come we are keeping teams in the playoffs that they have no outstanding wins? Indiana, I was hoping for them to prove something, and I thought they ever had a pretty good matchup, and apparently I was wrong. The game was actually much further away from Indiana than the score will suggest. Notre Dame was in complete control. Clemson, it's really no competition against Texas. And that's the thing, is Texas is playing their typical game. They are not playing lights out. They are not crazy or anything. And there is even an argument about Texas, because they had lost to Georgia twice. And not only that, who has beaten Georgia? Alabama was left out of the playoff. So, I mean, it's bonkers. I do think there could have been better ways. I would have liked to have seen South Carolina get in. I think that would have been exciting. I actually think that Ole Miss getting in would have been exciting. I think those 3 teams all would have made the matchups way more exciting. Yes, Alabama is hot and cold. But I'm going to be honest. A lot of these other teams that made it into the playoffs, they've been hot and cold. I mean, people are saying that Alabama should not be in because they lost 3 games. Well, what about Clemson? They lost 3 games. So, I'm not going to mention it that much in the sense of, committee, I told you so kind of a thing. But I am going to leave it as, yeah, I said it. Because I knew these games were not going to be great. And there was no reason to really even watch it. These games they're not even competitive. It's sad. Right now, I have the Texas game kind of on, but I'm not really watching it. I'm actually been watching, I think it's, Oh yeah, the NCAA FCS championships, the semifinals, and those games have been even more exciting than these games. So yeah, this isn't good. If this is how the committee awards teams, they give them participation points moving forward, and this is how it is going to be. I see that there's going to be a lot less people watching these playoffs because these playoffs you can already tell who's going to win and who's going to lose, and don't even need to watch the games. Now, like with today, we have a NFL game on, the Steelers versus the Ravens, and that's what I've been watching. I'm a Steelers fan, but I think a lot more people are watching NFL games. There was also the Kansas City Chiefs were playing today, and their game, and that was, I mean, those games were way more exciting to me. So I was watching those rather than the college football playoff games. It's if the NCAA, the committee, all of them, college football as a whole, they want to make money. They want things to be exciting. They want to be good for the fans. All of that stuff. Do not just give participation points for being in a conference. Do not just give participation points for being able to beat really bad teams. Make a push for teams to play better teams. It is more rewarding and exciting for fans and for the sport. That's how the sport progresses. With how things are now, the sport isn't progressing. It's regressing. And it's regressing fast. Looking at the old kind of college football playoffs and the teams that were playing and the standard that was there, there's only one team this year that I think could hold up and has really been and kind of encompassed what the college football playoffs are and how they well, really two teams actually, two teams that have been really in it and been showing that they have the experience, they have the poise and everything, um, and really everything that encompasses a playoff contending team. There's only two, and that is Oregon and Georgia. Georgia lost their quarterback. What did they do? They didn't just start having all their guys go in the transfer portal. And I'm going to take a knock at Alabama on that because a lot of their players decide to go on the portal. I think that is terrible that this is what the sport has become. But also, they haven't given up on their team's hopes. So, I mean, it's really hilarious that, like the whole, and the reason why the playoffs became the playoffs that they are now, and um, why questionable decisions on teams that should be in and out has happened is because of last year, because of Florida State. And they did both of those things. They let all their guys go to the transfer portal. They let all their guys. Really, they decimated their whole entire team. Um, Not even really giving themselves any way of a chance to play Georgia. Now, with how Georgia completely manhandled Florida State last year, I even if they had, say, even their starting quarterback, I don't even think they would win. If they had all their starters, they wouldn't have won. The game wouldn't have been close. it's not about participating.